Skittles or Devil to Grey. Okay, he's going by Devil to Grey this game. Not
Yeah, I was
Skittles.
about to say.
I wasn't sure which name he's going by. He changes his name all the time. So I expect Devil to go into the bot lane a bit more now since the Seraphine is there. Like maybe an opportunistic gank through mid, especially once you clear one side of the map. If Devil starts on that top side, path through. If you can catch Uncle Sam, great. If you can't, blow a flash, job done. But really, when you want that kill, to me, I'm expecting to see focus for sure.
A little bit of a tight ship down there. Try and make it happen. I love it. There is the exclusive emote, I believe is what it is. I think that's what they were talking about. The exclusive Braum emote. And then a crocodile right behind. That's scary. Sword Blue's got like every single emote in rotation right there. How many can you have? I think you can have... I think there's 5 equipped. And then you have 1 for First Blood, an Ace... and a win and a loss, so counting that one, that's like 9. Showed about 4 of them, so that's pretty good there. Uncle Sam, I'm not sure you're gonna enjoy this one. That's gonna be a rough time. We saw the clocks come in, flash over the wall, and then the hook, it lands. Uncle Sam needs to get a little bit of help from the rest of the squad, and now Icelandic has the flash as well. Oh, what a good start for Fisher.
It's everything they could have wanted, and great patience on Sword Blue on that play. Kind of waiting for Uncle Sam to actually try and flash that wall. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. What surprised me was Icelandic Hero actually going in to try and protect Uncle Sam, and that does mean that his flash will be blown. I'm curious to see if that affects the early game here, Orbital. Whether or not Ole Miss will be able to play as aggressively as they might have wanted to, especially if they are able to set up some of these lanes.
Well, the other side of it is that was in the mid and jungle, right? Jungle, a lot of people say is the flash isn't that important, but the mid lane is so scary. Uncle Sam now going to maybe be conceding that lane just for a little bit until the wards come back up. Not only that, they should have information on Ole Miss's side that, hey, Devil to Grey hasn't started those Raptors just yet, started on the bot side of the map, and is looking for a full clear.
Yeah, and I think Uncle Sam is going to be able to take that information and put it to great use as well, knowing that I just need to make sure where's that top side early. And then roughly as when Icelandic Heroes finish clearing his top side, then I need to play a bit defensively. We also saw Radar kind of pushing in, so Uncle Sam not missing a beat, kind of able to sit in a safe position while farming. Both these junglers though started on opposite sides of the map, so I called for Devil to Grey in the bot lane. He's not going to be there, Orbital. He's actually pathing towards that top side instead, and I know that, yeah, you can full clear and go back bot. I just hate to see it for a J4, and I think if you're pathing top, just throw a gank to top lane. Anyways, might as well. You're J4. You've got some of the best early ganks in the game.
Might as well use it in the lane that is most efficient. But for right now, Rhino's just being an absolute pain in the spot side. Again, the information from Ole Miss is, hey, we don't have to worry about jungle for right now, just worry about the hook. And at some point, Icelandic, now finishing up that 5th camp, will be a happy little duck looking at either mid or bot side. Or you could just look at a recall and be more than happy about that as well.
Huge props to Shogo and Rhino, by the way. They've dodged almost all the skill shots that Ralik has been throwing out and positioning really well to make sure that Sword Blue doesn't get the chance to even throw the hook through the minions. And because of that, we're seeing them actually get their shove. And Icelandic Hero is able to actually sneak into this bot lane here.
Okay. This is a little bit fun. Of course, it's spotted out immediately by Sword Blue, who went on the roaming expedition. Very, very appropriate. And I'm kind of curious again. Now the gank in that mid lane, as you said, it was going to be a bit of a test as Devil to Grey did join in the mid lane. Uncle Sam, though, without mana, already backing up.
We're getting baited by the top lane again. This happens a lot with the Wet Noodle fights. Renekton and Cassante, pre-6, they're kind of healthy. Nobody's going to die up here that early. If they drop to 1/3, we worry. I was much more invested in what was happening mid when Devil to Grey actually popped by. Wasn't actually able to get the gank, which was critical because Uncle Sam's flash still wasn't back up, and having survived that, Uncle Sam is now 1/3 of the way, or 2/3 of the way, only 1/3 on that cooldown left. So that's roughly about minute 20, minute 30 before that flash comes back.
And the fact that you weren't actually able to full punish, I mean, Radar still sitting at an even CS state, and now using that Scout of the Week, so Icelandic gets a little bit of free jump in. The slow and the burn is going to be powerful. Miss on the Q, though, still means Radar has to back away. Holding on to the flash, though.
I get really impressed by the discipline between all of these players. Like Icelandic there holding the Q till after he kind of engaged there using the flash instead. Almost landed it, but not quite able to. And critically, Radar's flash is still up, so that gank to the mid lane doesn't pay off. And if anything, I want to see Fisher kind of go back in, try and take advantage of that small window while they still have this flash advantage that Ole Miss doesn't.
And try and punish that factor as Uncle Sam is now going to TP back. We saw the pings go down as well. An idea saying, hey, Devil to Gray is like, we're tracking the Lee Sin, so let's go ahead and keep them under pressure. Topo also helping out, dropping a ward of their own and realizing the top side has already been cleared out very, very quickly. So timing and everything between the teams is starting to hopefully accelerate as again, Fisher, as you said, hoping to make a mark soon.
And Orbital, I guess we should explain a little bit about why I'm so focused on Fisher getting a bit of an early lead. Because we mentioned before that Devil to Gray has all the setup you could want in your lanes. You've got the Blitzcrank on your side, you've got the Renekton, and you've got, most importantly, Topo on that Renekton up top. Well, Ole Miss has really good skillings on their team with the Jinx, with the Ziggs, and they've got really good zones of control as well as the game goes on. Range is often king in the late game. So for Ole Miss, if they can come out the laning phase even, if they can go to the late game even, they are winning. But you look at the CS, and they are winning out in mid and bot pretty heavily, pretty significantly right now, which is even better for them when you consider those are their carry lanes.
Sword Blue, you can't pull a dragon, you can pull a Lee Sin, and I don't think you want to pull that fish. That's a flash over the wall, keeping him safe, but Raleigh trying to get in. Icelandic taking quite low, bomb goes out, but doesn't really do any damage, and because of that, it's a 3v4. Shogo taking quite low as well. Devil the Great gets out, and now they're going to bounce their way backwards. Sword Blue says, hey, I helped out my team, gets another pull, looking for a third. Devil the Great is still going to live, triple kill on the J4. Rhino flashing over the wall, and that is a massive clean win for the side of Fisher. No dead and no dragon to Ole Miss.
Just when we were getting worried, Orbital, for Fisher, just when we were saying Devil to Gray can't seem to find the first kill, Devil to Gray finds 3. The collapse from Fisher was beautiful, and it was with the strength that we're talking about, the early advantage you have with that Seraphine, with that J4 as well. And Ole Miss, I think they were getting a little bit hypey. They didn't need to, and for that, Icelandic Hero, the flash just came up. It's back down again. Dragon is still up for both of these teams, so you know what, there's a chance that we might see something similar, a repeat of that, if Icelandic Hero tries to steal it again without proper lane setups.
That's going to be the big danger here. I mean, Devil to Gray should have a massive boost in confidence. 3 kills, RMC. You gotta love it, right? And that should also give a massive power over to Devil to Gray. You can actually see now taking that blue buff and hunting towards that bot side with the pings of Sword Blue. I mean, we're watching this mid lane, but the bot side's where it's at. There's really no summoner spells. It's just a straight up death. Shogo going to be granted their death, but Rollick takes it home, and that Seraphine's starting to come online as well.
Show no. You have to be careful when you don't have those defensive summoners. Keep in mind, this is not something like a Tom Kench or a Thresh, which got banned, right? Rhino can't get you out of that situation. And unfortunately for Ole Miss, they didn't even have the proper wards to really be allowed to do that. And now Fisher, not only do they get the kill, the shutdown on potentially what's the biggest threat for Ole Miss, but also that early dragon. Oh. Mid lane Sword Blues go in. Oh, Samuel Flash, you don't get out.
RMC, I know you talked about the fact that for Fisher, it's like, yeah, they got to go big early and win and then dominate from there on out, or you falter. Yeah. And I think Fisher took the former, right? Sword Blue, as soon as the kills went down before, had just rushed out in the lanes. Uncle Sam now getting affected. That summoner spell already down once again, that flash, and being picked on because of it. Now Devil to Gray literally just had a lackadaisical walk straight from bot side into mid, into jungle to go ahead and grab that Herald.
Yeah, the Herald got leashed up by Topo as well.
Yeah.
Because Topo was dominating in that top side. And originally, Topo was the only lane that was winning for Fisher. Well, those kills, those assists go a long way towards evening everything out for Fisher now in the mid and the bot lane. And for Ole Miss, they're on the back foot, and I'm curious how they respond. Because technically, you can sit back and look to scale. But given what I know of Ole Miss's players, especially Uncle Sam and Icelandic Hero, these guys are aggressive. They're proactive. They don't like to sit back. So I'm curious to see if Icelandic Hero, what he's going to do, and if he overplays his hand further.
I mean, his hand and his eyes are currently watching Uncle Sam just get bullied in this mid lane. I mean, that's just... When you die to a caster by auto attacks, you know things are going a bit rough here.
That's painful to see. There's nothing Uncle Sam can do, right? It's not like the Ziggs overextended or anything. It's just when a Blitzcrank shows up in your lane, when you don't have a minion wave because you're up against a Syndra, there's nothing you can do. Normally, this comes at a cost. When your support is roaming that heavily, it usually leaves your bot laner dry. But this is one of the reasons why Seraphine kind of works, because Seraphine doesn't need as much gold. She can go down CS. More importantly, between her heals and her shields and her ability to wave clear, you can see Rollick is not pressured whatsoever. Yeah, he's losing CS, but that's okay. He doesn't care. And as that wave builds up, Shogo and Rhino are eventually going to push out, and that's when it gets scary.
I mean, you already saw it right there, right? Devil Gray is like, I know the next play, and these players have played these matchups time and time and time again, and they felt it. And you can see here, just diving straight through that tri-brush. It isn't going to land, but the choppers are going to stop him, so Devil Gray didn't exactly get the gank that they were hoping for. Instead, going to take about a half HP damage. Shogo and Rhino allowed to survive down here.
Oh, as you pointed out, these players have been here plenty of times. They know what it's like, and you could tell for Ole Miss as well. The moment that wave stacked up for Shogo and Rhino, the moment they saw Sword Blue clearing that wave, they knew there was going to be a gank coming. They played that so well, incredibly defensively. You notice that Rhino's the one stepping up because he has the flash. Sword Blue beats the back, and unfortunately for Icelandic Hero, again, nothing to be found.
Surprisingly enough, with that ward dropped, it's also seen that Rollick is was going to get checked there just a little bit. Still had the heals, and I think that Encore, so would have been okay, but still, the danger, the effect, as we said, following after each other. But this is giving Devil Gray time to now push up on the top side, scaling up very nicely, two camps ahead, as well as the Gore Drinker. This now means that Icelandic can't even duel in their own jungle and is conceding a lot of ground there.
And again, look at where Sword Blue is on the map, too. It's
right.
It's not as if it's just Devil Gray invading. You've got Devil Gray taking everything from the top side, and you've got Sword Blue pushing in on the bot side as well. Threatening the mid lane, threatening Icelandic Hero, threatening to be able to rotate to cover if they see Icelandic Hero. So Ole Miss, this is why I kind of said, like, they want to be proactive, but I don't know if they have a chance. And if they try, they're going to get punished. Icarus, Matt's just trying to farm.
I mean, trying to farm and just barely holding on, but we got action in the bot lane as well. Inside of this jungle, Rhino annihilated by Powers Unleashed, and now it's a 3v2 topside. I don't think that's going to be enjoyable, as we can't even show you the flood. Encore with the TP behind, a double TP from Radar as well. It is just demolition derby in this topside, as Icelandic happened to help start the fight, but will end the fight with a death. Brutality in the topside, as 3 are dead to show.
Rolling just picked up the Andrews too, and the burn was enough to take down Icarus. Shogo now left alone on the bot side, trying to answer best he can.
Can't even do that!
No, too many TPs, because Rolling has an extra TP. Topple is able to go down there, cover that. So, sure, plates are good, but Shogo, despite the CS advantage, is behind the curve of the game. Fisher, 6k up Orbital. 6k, that's 1/3 more than Ole Miss have.
I will go on record and say I was not expecting this situation to occur. I was 100% not expecting this at all. Fisher coming out the gate with a bang. They noticed the window of opportunity, right? They said, hey, there is a section of the game where we need to pressure forward with that Blitzcrank, and they pulled it off and are now pushing forward. The question is, can they continue onward, right? The second part is, now that you're ahead, you have to stay ahead, and we want to see that happen. With Dragon currently up, we can see the wards being dropped down, and that's why Fisher are now rotating a majority share of their members down here.
And Orbital, I completely agree with you about when you're ahead, you need to stay ahead. And one thing we have to keep in mind for Fisher's composition is how are they going to push? They're great at team fighting. They're great at finding picks. The skirmishes belong to them. But turrets, structures, that's the real secret of League of Legends. That's how you'll win a game. It's not the kills, it's the towers and eventually the Nexus. And they don't have a dedicated AD carry. Their 2 range champions are Syndra and a Seraphine. They don't have the best range, they don't have the best siege capabilities. So for Ole Miss, if you can defend, there are still ways to get back in. If you can stop Fisher from being able to set up a tent, if you can stop Sword Blue from landing those pools, then maybe you can stall it long enough for your Ziggs or your Jinx to scale up and take it home.
Sounds good on paper, and I mean, as a Ziggs player myself, everyone knows I love my Ziggs, but that's still a long way that they got to defend, right? That's quite a few minutes that we got to watch for, so I do agree they can do that, but it's all about how long can they go for? Is it only 5 minutes? Is it only 5? It ain't gonna work. If it's more than that, hey, maybe so. Radar, though, getting a piece and a taste of Shogo right now, trying to stack up that ferocity tree. I think it's the Ultimate Hunter. Wait, no. I think Radar actually got on the top side. Well, you know what? Maybe you did, maybe you didn't, but you'll get it down here on the bot side anyway. Rampage by the Syndra. Oh, this is gonna be a rebuttal, though. Okay. Icelandic gets ping-ponged around. Icelandic can't finish it off, though. You got ping pong enough inside of the minion wave. They can't land the Q, and because of that, Radar gets out.
Unfortunately, Rhino and Icelandic not quite on the same page. The Dragon's Rage got knocked back, so Radar had a shorter distance to go to escape to safety. Thankfully for Ole Miss, they don't get the kill, but they will at least get the turret. I think ideally they wanted that gold onto Shogo, but beggars no choosers right now. Take what you can get. Interestingly though, Uncle Sam's actually rotating to the bot lane. I mean, normally that's a call that you keep on pushing, especially with the Ziggs, but with the basing motion from Rhino actually went back. Ole Miss's rotation leaves their mid turret horrifically exposed.
I mean, they're going to try and cover it here by just applying pressure, but I don't think they're allowed to, because now puts Shogo in a dangerous spot. Good flash out to get away from the Encore behind, and they do survive, but that's a burn of a Summoner Spell. Double Summoner Spells out of Shogo.
Yeah, and still the threat continues to come through. Cataclysm is down, but the big threat from Fisher right now is actually the rocket grab from Swordblue, and the cooldown short enough that will be coming up. Although we talked about the fact that can you hold against the Siege? Fisher, they're cheating. They're using Heralds. They're going to be able to speed this one up, and Ole Miss, this is a problem. They can't step up to clear Herald.
Oh, and they can't even stop themselves from getting run down in their own jungle. That was Uncle Sam getting killed. Now Icelandic looking to try and get a jump in, but they just walk away. Icelandic literally watches his prey just turn and walk away, and they die. Fisher are looking like sharks in water, and they say, we know what we got. They are pushing down this mid lane after getting 2 kills. They have not lost a single member, and the only Mar on the perfect record is going to be a tower because they get more and more. 14 straight kills and an inhibitor tower to boot.
They're out of minions, Orbital. That turret goes down. And they can't. So we're only 17 minutes in. We're not even at 20 minutes yet. The death timers are short, pardon me. So Ole Miss is able to respawn and fend off the attack. But you saw that push come through, and it's worrying. Because if Fisher can do that, and that's their weakest point, is that siege. If they can do that to you, then for Ole Miss, you can't sit back and wave clear anymore. You've actually got to be proactive out there hunting for picks, and whether they can do that or not is a problem. To make a pick, you need vision. And I'm looking at the map right now. Ole Miss, they don't have the vision right now to generate those sort of picks in the neutral areas, in the jungle. And if you're trying to force a pick in the lane somehow, well, Fisher's not been split up in their lanes.
No, they have not, except for this moment. Devil to Grey decided to try and stat check Uncle Sam. Unfortunately, Uncle Sam had the attack booster of a tower, and then he's like, okay, maybe I can't fight that fully. But as you said, these vision fights are so crucial because the entire bot side for Fisher, they have invaded through. They have complete confirmation of where everyone is, and because of that, Swordblue is allowed to just roam around. Uncle Sam can't stand anywhere close unless you're under tower and unless your back is pretty much straight to your base.
And having seen Shogo now up there, along with Rhino riding in his back pocket, you can see Fisher's very, very confident in that bot lane. And Ole Miss, on the other hand, know that they were operating on a timer.
Oh!
Rhino gets intercepted.
Oh, I thought Rhino was gonna get out, and no, Uncle Sam also is denied their 2 life. Death all around from top to bot, as this is Fisher with the collapse on the top side gonna take this kill and push down this lane. Dragon will be up in 25 as well.
Normally, Orbital, this would be where we're screaming for Baron. You've got to pick on the top side. Your entire team's pretty much there. Radar's got TP. But we're 19 minutes in. Baron hasn't spawned. Topple getting collapsed on by 3, but he's got Devil to Grey helping out.
He does, but now the tower's going to fight it out. Again, the Chomper's actually denied Devil to Grey a chance because of that to jump over the wall. Icelandic hoping to get a little bit of a way out, but the shield is too hard because the Icelandic can't cut through it, and Topo is allowed to live. And now just a drop of magic damage on top of Icarus's life when all you have is armor. Magic hits like heck. Now an encore into the tower to follow up behind the dive, and it lands Shogo in a bit of trouble. You're able to get 1 for your sons, but it's all that's gonna be. Now a hook over the wall. Swordblue continues the fight. Round 3, round 4, round 5 kicking off, and every single round is going the way of Fisher. Rhino able to get back to safety, hang onto the ropes, but I'm not sure if you want to keep fighting Swordblue, realizing that the cares are currently low. I'm not sure if you really want to fight, but you get the squishy. Uncle Sam sidesteps and unfortunately lets a very vulnerable Milio to die. Now the stat of the week over the wall, and with the unleashed power, it is all coming together as Fisher take 5.
TP into the mid lane from Icarus, but I don't know what you're looking for against Devil to Grey. Devil to Grey is up and a full item on Icarus right now with that Gore Drinker. I don't think Cassante wins that, even if you're equal levels. And Fisher right now, they're just taking over this game. Orbital, 21 kills in 20 minutes. They are more than a kill a minute. Just one team. This is not both teams. That is just Fisher alone. And Ole Miss, you're seeing glimmers of their skill. Right? Like, everything looked so good in that last fight till it didn't. But that's the leeway that Fisher have with the lead that they have. Topo again tempting a 3v1.
I mean, this time, though, Topo is just like, just get away. I don't want to deal with any dragon situation. Let's keep testing it over and over. And the realization by Ole Miss is they can't be tempting this, right? The rest of the team is here. Cataclysm comes in, and now you're all in the pit. Icelandic willingly jumps in. You know you don't really have a choice. It is just death all around as it's a two-piece for Devil to Grey, and the Croc gets one as well.
Topo walked away, but it was Ole Miss who needed to keep walking. They thought they had it. They saw it as a sign of weakness from Topo that he's backing off, but no, it was bait.
Oh!
Beautiful stopwatch.
My boy, my poor boy is 1-8-1. My poor Ziggs on the newest B skin as well. Like, I love that B skin. I don't like the death animation anymore. Like, stop making me see it.
You know what, Stockholm? If you see it enough times, Orbital, you'll come to like it. Or something like that. Well, I don't think your Uncle Sam is enjoying that death animation whatsoever. And I want to give props to Uncle Sam too. Despite the fact that he's 1-8-1, look at his CS numbers. He's actually not that far behind Radar. Not great, but he's still up there. And speaking of that, the highest CS on this map is Shogo for Ole Miss. So Ole Miss haven't given up. They're still funneling gold to that Jinx as much as possible. And there's always the chance, Jinx gets 1 kill, 2 kills in the fight, suddenly pops off and takes over a game. It's just that Fisher have not given Shogo that opportunity whatsoever. Every single fight, it's Shogo first.
I think that just speaks to Fisher's style, right? They've allowed themselves the opportunity to now push for this Baron. They've allowed themselves the opportunity to get this early objective. And, at 22 minutes, that is a pretty fast one. You now get the chance to pressure out whichever lane you wish for about 3 minutes until this dragon comes up. And then that dragon is pretty much a seal on the deal, right? You get Ocean Soul, of all things. This is going to be a stop on the top side, though, as after the Baron 3, we're looking for a bit more from Fisher.
And the stall is important because Shogo is pushing in that bot lane right now. Topo doesn't have a good way to actually reach this Jinx and punish her. So as long as Ole Miss can delay this, it's good for them.
Well, Devil to Grey is now going to try and break that stall out, and because Devil to Grey currently has the second highest amount of kills for the team, I really don't think Shogo's getting out. Rhino does, though, as they get the Blast Cone out. Devil to Grey quite literally just doing a drive-by.
Shogo had flash, by the way, but just Devil to Grey and Topo were physically putting their bodies in the way of the flash so that Shogo couldn't guarantee he'd get over that wall. He didn't want to burn it. Bot lane, or mid lane, I guess somewhere between mid and bot. Uncle Sam has to blow his own flash away from Radar. Radar has been utterly merciless right now. 10-0-7. Doesn't matter who's matched up against them. They get hit by a stun and they might just drop.
Uncle Sam getting a little bit wise, but finally Icelandic finds a pick on the back end. I didn't even see it. It was that sneaky, but Radar still gets out. That's going to be a jump forward. Icarus might be able to get the finisher, and does. That's 1,000 gold in their pocket, but now can they get out with their lives? That's going to be a slow. That's going to be a little bit of chip and a fall to damage. Icelandic will go down. Devil Grey goes over the wall, and I'm not sure that's where they want to go. Now Topo comes to help, and in goes the Cassante, and now they just leave their teammates to death. Ole Miss lose 3, but are able to gather 1,000 gold bounty. It's 1, and maybe more. Topo has to burn the ult. But Final Rocket gets another shutdown. Shogo following up. Maybe you can get some more. The Get Excited is there, but you jump right into the stun. Hey, it's not going to be too bad, though. Shogo now in the wave. I'm not sure you can say this. Cataclysm comes right back up, and Devil to Grey goes legendary, turning that fight once again.
Fisher! How many times do you have to overchase on Fisher to learn? You don't get to do that. There was a moment I believed in that dream too, bro. There was a moment when Shogo started getting those resets. I thought, is this it? Is this the moment where Jinx takes over the game? But Fisher's retreat, or tactical reposition, was done in such good order. They knew exactly how far they could go. Sword Blue threw out the hook to say, hey, can I land the fish? If I do, we kill. And the moment they pass that too, you can see the call for Devil to Grey. So I'm just going to hide in this bush. The moment they cross that line, we turn, we kill. And for all that Shogo's got damage, Shogo has no resistances, no health whatsoever.
I also want to put a highlight on the exceptional play around the ults for Fisher, right? Their composition outside of the Blitzcrank, they have such a massive wombo coming out. The Cataclysm, the Scout of the Week into Unleashed Power, the Encore. These ults I've actually seen cycled from start to finish of the fight. That is how long these fights are going, or at least these length of plays. So well done by Fisher to know their limits here and not go over it. I love the way that you called it. It is a tactical reposition. They are not running because they are scared. They are moving and waiting for a lot of their cooldowns to come back up, and it's so dangerous. It's going to be even more so with the Dragon now on the table.
And once again, look at the positioning of Fisher. They've got their members down there. Topo, the only one in the top lane, and we've seen Topo survive 3v1s. He's not scared of just Icarus and Uncle Sam. Dragons up, Dragons for the Goodness is aware of this. But there's nothing you can do. It isn't Ocean Soul, which is going to give additional regeneration through these team fights. But I think it's the right call. If you fight right now, you lose. So just try and farm up again and try and pick better.
That better fight ain't gonna come their way, though, as Shogo was quite literally forced into a 3v1 and denied an opportunity to fight back. On the other side, it's Icarus and Topo to fight a 1v1, denying the chance for Icarus to get in, and because of that, it's full retreat from Ole Miss. Fisher granted so much space in the mid lane, and Icarus forced to give space. Icelandic, I think it's just a chase and chase. Oh. I like it. Knew the wait was there, waiting for the flag and drag.
That was a game of patience between us. I thought they were going to call Topo back up to try and cut off the entrance to make sure that there's nowhere for Icelandic to run, but no, Topo just wants to keep pushing. That's fine. So while Devil Degree and Icelandic hero play tag up in the top lane, the more important thing is the push in the mid lane and the push off lane, because Baron's coming up in a minute and a half. And for Fisher, the struggle is still pushing, right? They got the mid lane because they found those picks outside the base. If they don't get the picks, the wave clear is starting to be strong enough from Shogo with that IE completed. It's starting to be strong enough from Uncle Sam as well. Had to detour for Morelos, but once the third item comes through, Fisher's pushing is going to be severely hampered. So Fisher needs to take this Baron in a minute, and they need to effectively win out the game by that point. If they don't take all the inhibitor turrets down, then Ole Miss. I'm starting to believe that they might be down 29 kills, or 30 kills, pardon me. But I'm starting to believe that if they can survive the next Baron push, that they would be able to scale up to the point where they actually start to.
I hate that as well, because I mean, Fisher works so hard, but I gotta agree, right? This composition needs to start kind of putting their best foot forward, and I think they're doing it right here. Yes, Baron is up in about 30 seconds, but you get one hard push coming in here. You get that chance to knock down even without the Baron, and Topo is going to be that menace in the mid lane. It's a 3-2 or a 4-1 split. They're going to look at top side, ensure that the tower goes down, but Rollick still allowed to be in the shielding position. It's just a brute force of this tower, not a moment to lose, and even the rocket being sent, there's nothing to really do. And now Uncle Sam having to flash away, but Icarus jumping forward. No fight to break out just yet. An inhibitor granted as Fisher leave.
And for Ole Miss, unfortunately, Uncle Sam was just trying to wait, but he needs a body in front of him. And that's something that we've not really seen, unfortunately, for Ole Miss, has been Icarus and Icelandic hero. Body blocking, stepping forward. They are the tanks for this team. I know it's kind of weird to call Lee Sin a tank, especially when it isn't actually completed tank items, but they have more health and they're not as critical. And because they don't step up there, the take is easy. And Fisher are almost full health when they fall back on this.
Thank you to our observer, by the way, to show that Radar is 11, 1, and 8 and still hasn't fully completed the passive, by the way. That's crazy to me. That's the whole thing. You're supposed to have extra AP in the bucket. Radar still hasn't completed all the shards, and you're still walloping people. 3 completed items right now. Didn't even stop for the Zanya. Said, I don't need it. Only had that stopwatch in hand. With everything granted, this Baron, as you said, it's all hands on deck to the spot lane. Fisher, they know one last lane has an inhibitor, and that one better go down.
Brent, I'd take a full death cap over my opponent rather than completed shards.
Right.
You know what? Radar isn't feeling a thing right now with the extra AP that he already has. And as you rightly pointed out, Fisher, they recognize that, hey, there's no point pushing the other lanes as much. We already have inhibs down. There's only one lane left that matters. And there's one player in particular that matters. Hero! It's gone!
Icelandic tried to go for the inside, couldn't have it. Instead, gets assassinated for their crimes. Radar dropped to about 40%, but that's your engage. That's all you had, and now the waves are in. 4v5 situation. Devil to Gray locking up the opponents just to allow Topo to take the Nexus Tower. That's going to be a death as Uncle Sam implodes and explodes as death reigns supreme. Fisher saw a lead in the early stages of the game and ran with it for 30 minutes. They will take game number 1 against Ole Miss.
Orbital, I said if Ole Miss could hold out one more Baron, if they could, well, they couldn't. And
I'm going to go ahead and buy up a Cole, maybe not since game 1, but it's a little bit safer without that blitz.
I mean, you didn't pick Sivir for the early game anyways, so the call makes sense. You're investing for the future. I see it. You know what? I'm gonna give Rollick the benefit of the doubt. Probably doesn't deserve it, but they're going for the early cheese, bro. Imagine if he gets first blood here, then he can straight up buy better items. Yeah.
All right, I like it. I like it. We are gonna wait though. Icarus, again on this Ornn duty. We'll see if they're able to spot into the fog of war they go. They see the setup here, but I mean that's a long lane. Icarus has about 8 Teemos and a half of distance between the two, so I don't think that that Winter's Bite is going to be found.
That's the best part, Orbital. They didn't see Rollick, so they didn't know Rollick had no items. Or else I think Fisher might have actually called for that bot lane to start rotating up and trying to hold them there for the actual takeaway. It's fine.
It's just...
Rollick gets back to base. Rollick gets bought items. It's okay now.
Yeah. Well, there was a bug. I remember. I think it was like 2 or 3 patches ago that actually people would buy. It's just it wouldn't show up in the UI. So that's why it's always kind of funny to see. You know, if they bought, if they didn't buy. It's one to watch for. Right now, though, no big early questions, no flashes blown or anything of the sort. We are going to go back to that rock steady standard early game.
Wow, Shogo actually pushing the wave out early for a more advantageous position, actually leashing the wave. So what that actually does is it causes your wave to, when you drop aggro, target the same minion. So it will actually push against you. So Ole Miss already setting up for a safer bot lane. But Sword Blue wants to drive this home. Ignite being expended.
Oh my gosh.
What a way to send a message.
That's very impressive. Again, we said this bot lane was going to be very interesting to watch for because Sword Blue may not have that same amount of blitzcrank pressure, but the way that you're able to force out an early ghost feels great. Like, this is amazing already. Sword Blue and Rollick hitting level 2 a little bit earlier, so Shogo and Rhino cheating up towards that top side, ensuring that they're not in super harm's way. Sword Blue, though, taking over this push feels so good.
Yeah, he doesn't have the hook, but hey, if... What was that saying? If Muhammad won't go to the mountain, we'll get the mountain to go to Muhammad. Like, Sword Blue's like, I can't pull you to me. I'll walk at you. What are you gonna do? And hey, it works, right? You can see Rhino and Shogo have to step back. Keep in mind, once again, the goal of the Sivir Milio bot lane isn't to win lane, isn't to get kills. It's to just pick up. And so that's fine. If Sword Blue wants to walk at us, as long as your minions are walking towards us as well, they're okay with it.
That's where they're going to play, just outside of tower for the side of Ole Miss. And because of that, it gives time for Icelandic and Devil to Grey. This time, both starting out on the top side, are going to be finishing up their camps at about the same time. And it's going to be interesting to see if they both challenge each other for this Rift Herald, or if they're actually looking for those ganks.
I think for that Scuttle, at the rate we're going right now, Fisher should have control over it as it spawns, and Rollick and Sword Blue will be able to push out. And I think Ole Miss is aware of that. So I'd be a little bit surprised if we actually do see the Scuttle fight. If anything, this is one of the times where I kind of wish Icelandic here on the J4 didn't towards that bot lane and instead towards the top or mid, because I don't know that you have kill potential in this bot lane with flashes still available for Sword Blue and Rollick. And by the way, Sword Blue isn't here. This is Rollick 1v2.
The difference this time being, it's not like you had an early kill, you don't have that draw pressure. It was a TP coming in for Radar that they were hoping to make a little bit of an advantage on your Uncle Sam. Instead, it's now a collapse down. Devil to Grey is inside, looking for that stun, doesn't find it. It is just going to be the walk back out of the park. Shogo and Rhino going, really? We're going to have a party like this?
Well, why not? The drinks are laid out. The invitations have gone out. Devil to Grey has answered, and it's not like Devil to Grey's got anything better to do. He's already full cleared his jungle. He can the Scuttle. As I say that, Icelandic is taking the Raptors on respawn. And we've mentioned before, Seraphine doesn't need as much gold. Oh, Rhino?
Oh. Okay. He has healed. He's good. He's good.
Fine.
we're wondering if just like Rhino's gonna get in this massive trouble, which is like, please don't.
Like, I already didn't expect him to actually walk that far up, seeing the bases come through. And then he does, and I'm like, wait, but you're now way too far up. And he doesn't die. So shock after shock. But the point I was trying to make is more that Rollick and Surfing, you mentioned before, doesn't need as much gold, doesn't need as much experience. So you're okay with Devil de Grey leeching that. In fact, if Devil de Grey can hit 6 sooner, that's a sacrifice you're more than happy to make as a double support bot.
Well, at the current moment, it does feel that it's even out to net 0. Icelandic up about 2 camps in that little bit of egg. I want to say, I don't know how else, like, egg hatching process, I guess is the best way to put it. It's 28 to 31. Right now, though, Dragon is coming up. It is Chemtech currently available, and at the current stance, your Uncle Sam got a later teleport off. You are safe, and because of that, you get to jump in. Yes, you burned the flash. No level 6, though, so Icelandic doesn't get caught under the tower. Flash burned on Radar.
Now, it is worth noting both Radar and Uncle Sam are already burnt over for back to lane, so that bit of poke from Icelandic hero is significant. Uncle Sam just hit level 6 as well, so Radar has to be incredibly careful. You can see the pressure in.
Yeah. I think that was I think we all saw that one coming from like a good mile away right there. Radar's like, I had this happen. What I'm not used to seeing is a top lane fight. Icarus taking Topo quite low, forcing that dominance to come out.
Ultimates traded, and Orbital, you were seeing the praises of Icarus and his tank capabilities from this weekend. We're seeing it much better early game this time. Actual threat, Devil de Grey onto Uncle Sam.
No flash means Devil de Grey gets an easy pickup there. We talked about the necessity for this Viego to start rolling. That's a great way to do it.
Yeah, and Sword Blue, you can take him off the Blitzcrank. He's still roaming on this brawl. He's getting in there. The Q tag is enough, and hey, if Sword Blue can't set up Devil de Grey, well, Devil de Grey will kick it off himself. Flash expended this time, but once he hits level 6 with the Heartbreaker, normally it's used as the execution for the damage component towards the end of a fight. I'm honestly not surprised, and I've even seen Devil de Grey use it as an initiation to close the gap to get the stun off in the first place.
Just different ways to play a pretty solid champion, but Radar saying, don't take my ward. Why would you take my ward? That's mean. Icelandic's like, I don't care. Let's go ahead and clear it out. Both junglers meeting in the mid lane.
Yeah, now they have to be a little bit careful for Icelandic here. So while Uncle Sam has the range advantage to play outside of Malzahar Nethergrass, Icelandic hero doesn't have that. And with Devil de Grey waiting the wings, not level 6 yet, but still a lot of damage on the table. Rollick just soaking a bit of poke right now, still able to wave clear safely while waiting for Sword Blue to come.
And I will say, in this current state, the amount of roaming Fisher has on Sword Blue is great, don't get me wrong. However, the fact that we're sitting at a 1-1 and even a very slight gold lead over to Ole Miss, I think spells a far greater early game than we saw in game number 1, right? Shogo and Rhino feel a lot better. You're up about 400 gold. Yes, that's what, like a longsword, it's not much, but it just feels better in the mental game, I think.
Well, Orbital, are you sure about that? Because if we remember back to game 1, Ole Miss was up in the bot lane and the mid lane. They were down to top lane, and then First Dragon tragedy.
Oh, right.
So the question right now is, how does First Drake go? Icelandic hero has snuck his way into the pit, and this time I don't think Fisher knows.
No wards, not really available. Of course, they cover their entrances, but not the inside of the pit. Rollick, of course, being stuck under the tower means that this is going to be a nice setup. Uncle Sam taking a plate, happily, to say the least, and Ole Miss will be up a dragon.
Chemtech Drake to start, so somewhat useful, but not the most impactful of early drakes as well. I think Fisher is okay to give the dragon away. What they're probably less okay with is not having a lead and not having been able to generate action. Now, Devil de Grey is level 6, and now I'm expecting to see a lot more happening. Especially watch mid, watch the flash from Radar. Once it comes back up, I would love to see that flash onto a Syndra, see Devil de Grey be able to follow up with that. Bot lane as well, when Sword Blue hits 6, watch out for potential engages to come through there as well.
Just so much being looked at in this mid lane factor, right? Everything points to Uncle Sam being pinched time and time again. And at this point, Uncle Sam should know it. You even saw on the side, Sword Blue once again just cheating up there, like, you better not step up too far or I'm gonna get you. And Uncle Sam's just like, okay, I get it. we're going to go back and actually talk about this top side. We've hovered here every so often, with the CS discrepancy only being 20. I will say that's kind of nice for Icarus. However, Sword Blue still sitting in his mid lane on top of a ward this time, realizes that there's some problems, while Icarus and Topo keep trading a little bit of HP bar. Devil to Grey, though, waiting on the edge. It's going to be dangerous, and as the steal comes out, Icelandic will happily take it, but now Herald's being started up.
Blue sat on a ward, sees it there, and this might be our first big fight. Icarus rotating down from that top lane. Watch out for the Orn Hornets, the long range engage.
Well, there it is. Sword Blue, I'm not sure, can block it. Didn't block it at all, and because of that, the knockup is there. Topo is going to be sectioned off in the jungle, and it looks like he's a little bit worried. Fisher is going to get double knocked up, and now another knockup behind. Cataclysm is available. Who gets it? I'm not sure. I think it was picked up by Fisher, but now they might lose their members. On the flip side, Uncle Sam is going to get Radar's life. One more team should take it, but in the pit right now, Topo has to get out. A flash to follow on the side means it's a kill in the 1v1, and now double kill straight over to Icelandic. It almost feels like a repeat of game one, but this time Ole Miss get the dubs.
The shoes on the other foot. Orbital, Ole Miss play this top side engage perfectly. And while most of the action was happening in that brawl, that 3v3, I actually want to highlight the 1v1 that was happening off on the side. Syndra into Malzahar. We talked about the fact that Malzahar does not enjoy that 1v1 matchup. It's a lot about enabling the other champions, but the backup never came. Devil to Grey wasn't there to follow up when Radar locked on Uncle Sam, and the moment that Nether Grass was over, Uncle Sam was saying, it's my turn now, it's my show now. And when Radar died, Uncle Sam was able to reinforce, make sure they continue picking up kills. Fisher with the Herald, I don't think it makes up for it, but maybe they can prove me wrong, or they can find a pick somewhere in multiple things to get back.
I mean, I would be looking towards that mid lane, right? That flashes up on Radar, and this is a tried and true method to get a kill, especially since Uncle Sam also flashed up, so you know it's almost triply safe. So that opportunity you were talking about before is now available if they so wish. But we have to keep watch on that timer because it is a limited time opportunity. That's the other side of it. And with multiple wards up, I don't think Uncle Sam is going to allow this opportunity with a pink ward. Now in bot side of river and top side, you can see Devil to Grey almost forcing that mid lane situation. Herald is going to be dropped early as they have space created.
And also Rhino as well. I think Rhino has done a much better job this game tracking Sword Blue. Last game, it felt like his Blitzcrank was getting to roam completely unchecked, unmarked, and Rhino's just sitting in the bot lane. This time, Rhino is not only signaling that Sword Blue's there, there's also actually rotating up to match as well. You don't have the same threat on that Milio in terms of creating a gank, but the heal is very effective to keep your allies alive in the counter. So, love to see that happen. Stepping up to try and stop this. Shogo's not there yet.
Oh my gosh, I've never seen a support be able to do that. Like, you take a screenshot of that and you're like, that shouldn't be allowed, and then you see, of course, Icelandic, but just like, Sword Blue and Rollick just didn't really want to do anything with that. So I just love that pitch crest moment. Right now, Uncle Sam getting some good damage down in the mid lane. That window of opportunity now quickly closing as Radar is going to get chunked out faster and faster. But because of that pressure on the bot side, Ole Miss have now been able to invade and get wards of their own to completely lock out this bot side jungle of Fisher.
And suddenly, these lanes that were picked to enable Devil to Grey are now in need of help from Devil to Grey to not start to fall behind. Unfortunately, Devil to Grey, he needs to clear his camps as well. That is still the most effective, efficient way to get gold and experience. So, Radar, you're kind of just stuck on Wave Clear duty, burning through your mana as fast as it needs to be. And bot lane, Sword Blue just has to keep tanking, keep buying time. It's coming at the expense of his health. And you can see Icelandic Hero starting to sniff around down bot. Cataclysm is available, and they're even calling Uncle Sam for backup.
Well, this is actually going to be a problem as Uncle Sam and Icelandic Hero force a flash out on Radar, which is great, but now a flashback in as Devil to Grey gets a jump, and that might be the heartbreaker to finish him off. You do get the final hit. Icelandic able to take it away before the soul is taken, though, and because of the collapse from Fisher, it's actually going to work in the favor. They grab two, and the Encore lands. Yes, you spell shield run, but Rhino now has to use that ult to cleanse as well. What a shift. Fisher, we watch as they collapse in on Ole Miss. Ole Miss try to take control, but they don't get it, and instead Ole Miss will lose Dragon.
Rhino just trying to buy a little bit of space here, make sure that nobody rotates into the bot lane. Shogo trying to find some plates, but it's 14 minutes Orbital, and Shogo able to push the wave, but not able to find anything after the debacle where Fisher has caught back up. They're not quite even yet, but it goes a long way towards negating those 3 kills.
It's one of those moments where Devil Grey saw an opportunity, and Radar. We talked about this Malzahar, maybe not the Malzahar specifically, but having that flash up and being ready to get out of harm's way, so well done. And Ole Miss just kind of, I have a feeling it's not the okay, things have gone very, very wrong. It's we made a small mistake, right? Icelandic still 3-1-0, but is respecting the CC that can come out, building towards those Merc treads very quickly.
And I wouldn't be surprised if we're not seeing QSS start to come through. Maybe even Bansheesville. Uncle Sam a little bit. Lane Shoko though. Kraken Slayer complete, and he's already putting that to great effect. You can see sort of idea there. Sword Blue is a melee champion and can't do anything into what Shogo's able to put out. And if that spell shield kind of blocks the route that comes through from Seraphine, then Shogo gets free reign to chip away. The invade coming through. Devil the Grey is there, looking to steal away his own blue. Not
yes.
Secure it.
This is the old tip and trick from Syndra's. You secure bus like 9 times out of 10 if you got your mid lane and jungle together. Like that will happen all the time. But that was also set up because Ole Miss had warded it out, right? You can see the wards still available. They knew, hey, that mid lane isn't roaming over. Radar isn't going to be worried. So this is the power of Ole Miss from the early game wins that they got. They have been able to slightly, I want to say, annoy Fisher so far. And now, because they're annoyed, we are seeing Devil the Grey invade on that bot side.
Yeah, and annoy before, it's starting to become a little bit more serious now, right? Because the problem is Shogo as well, Devil the Grey, having used the Heartbreaker to get out, ults traded between the junglers. Okay, so Devil the Grey did not get the rip off. Had to burn out to get out. And kind of falls behind a little bit in tempo by Icelandic hero. He's going back in.
Yeah,
why are we going back?
I don't know. I'm sitting there like, this is what I was talking about. Frustration is available, and now you're stuck in a bad spot. You can't shield that drop of the W, and that's going to be a kill. Your Uncle Sam now getting a collapse in as well, as Radar can't do much as Malzahar eaten up for breakfast and sent back to the void.
Why are we going back in, Orbital? That question still bugs me right now.
I don't know, as Uncle Sam gets ignited and Icelandic takes a lot of tower damage, the Sword Blue at least gets one, but it still begs the question, why were they in the enemy jungle, RMC? Tell me why.
I don't know, and I'm not even going to begin to speculate. Instead, I'm just going to log Sword Blue. Great play mid. You got the kill. Good job as a support. Unfortunate, but you take what you can. Rowlick now in a bit of trouble.
That might be the dive. I mean, I don't even care if Rhino dies, but Rhino doesn't. The dive works wonderfully.
The heal for Rhino has been absolutely disgusting. That's the third time now. I think it's got him out of his sticky situation. The first two more for the movement speed, but this time the heal. Very, very clutch to stay alive. And Orbital, before all that craziness had kicked off, I was talking about the fact that it's not just a minor annoyance. I might not get to talk about that as Popo might get run down.
I like how you're saying, hey, now that the action has died down, that action has not died down at all. As Topo is saying, Icelandic, you may be ruling the jungle, the mid, and the bot, but you don't rule top. I'm 170 HP, and I will flash in your face. That's going to be the jump, but Scatterwick doesn't land, so it's a trade of 1-for-1. Devil the Grey does get the Orn HP and the soul, and is now going to dive ever further. Can you get another? Yes, you do. Hey, it's a 2v2. And you go ahead and get multiple kills on Devil the Grey.
I think that's okay for Fisher. I think they'll think it's worth. They got the kills onto Devil the Grey, who's the carry that they really need to pop off. And Shogo, okay, let's talk about Shogo, because he's the one I want to talk about. Because he's no longer a minor annoyance, he's a full-on threat. And one thing we kind of talked about why Fisher needs to get an early lead is because they don't have a good way to get onto Shogo. They don't have great engage. They're relying on Braum out, which is a little bit slow. Or you're relying on Seraphine out, Encore, which Shogo has a spell shield. Or especially if Shogo picks up a QSS, you're never going to catch him. And he's got a front line that's hard to get around. So Devil the Grey has to be able to one-shot or one rotation kill Shogo. If you can't do that, then Shogo will just rip through everybody in team fight.
I'm actually kind of terrified about that because, as you said, we are reaching that point where lanes are unleashed and Shogo is going to start meeting more than just Seraphine in the bot side. You're going to start meeting that Radar, that Topo, those champions that, in actuality, are the true threats of the team, and this Dragon is going to be a perfect spot to do so. We didn't even get to talk about it, RMC. We got the Infernal Soul rolling out here, and this Dragon pretty much invites and emphasizes aggression, fighting around this objective.
As if we needed more fire on this rift roll, but you're right, and the teams are set up for it. Look at how they've already come there. Icarus on the side has the flank position, but doesn't have ult available just yet.
No, and Topple actually had to burn that dominance because the fight's going to break out. Sword Blue's taken quite low. Does get the heal in the behind, and that's going to be the fissure. But you're still dead because the Cataclysm got over the fissure. Devil Grey having to run away, does have flash available. But look at the chase. They find the Seraphine. The Encore will never come out, and this concert is shut down. Devil Grey flashing away finally to get to safety, but a dub for Ole Miss secures the Dragon as well.
Choppo pushing into the mid lane after he got forced out in the fight.
Oh.
It will take the turret. Radar.
Alright, well, you got the heal, you got the shield. I think Radar here is still dead. And it's just dodging all the skill shots, by the way. That is honestly better than I would have ever done against a Syndra.
Not Rhino, not fair. That was supposed to be mano a mano. That was supposed to be one. Not fair. But then he gets a 5-player game at the end of the day. It's 5v5, and it is teamwork that make the dream work. So while that action was happening, Ole Miss able to pick up the Dragon as well. And overall, that fight's significant because it's the first big team fight we've seen. And like you said, right, watch Shogo in these fights. Wasn't touched. Wasn't an issue whatsoever.
Oh man, we're starting to see the strong points for each team really stand out, and I'm enjoying it because this is also Fisher's first taste of what the rest of the lanes of Ole Miss are able to do. And I mean, Icarus even hasn't, I want to say, truly joined the game yet. Had that fight around the Herald, and yes, had some very nice moments, and then that bot side was just a major collapse. So Fisher now had to kind of reevaluate, how are things breaking down? How can we get this 4-4-1 Viego into a better state as well?
And they tried, right? That was the idea for Toppo to go for that flank, but because he got caught out early, Devil Grey had no position into the backline. There wasn't a distraction. Everybody could just focus to make sure Viego doesn't leave Silver. And speaking of Icarus a little bit, Orbital, you know what? I think Icarus has gone involved plenty. He's 1-1-6 right now. Actually has higher KP than Shogo does. We're setting up Shogo as the big damage, the big wrecking ball. Well, Icarus has been doing work, and his horns have been beautiful to watch. We saw it at the Herald. Now we saw it on this bot side. I think Fisher needs to respect that a little bit more.
Well, that's the way to do it. Sword Blue actually drawing pressure onto Rollick, who has to flash away as well. Encore going to slow it down, but Icelandic says, I'm not done. I'm going to go ahead and jump in. I am the J4 now. You will follow my rule. Double kill for Shogo, doubling their kills, looking for a fifth as the Croc is turned. Triple kill for Shogo, unleashed from the bot lane. Radar now stuck in the same position as Icarus will double theirs as well. That is a rundown of 4 kills, and Baron is in the eyes of Ole Miss.
Come on, Icarus. You could have given the quadra, but you know what? Icarus deserves a little bit on the side. Again, beautiful call to Forge God to stop, to head off Toppo and make sure that Radar and Toppo couldn't get involved in the fight. And this is their prize. Devil Grey running in. There is a ward in the pit, but there's no flash available. It has to have or die.
Listen. If you want to ensure that the Baron goes your way, just kill the enemy jungler and then pray that the enemy team has no global ultimates. Either way, Baron to Ole Miss on 5.
Yeah, I mean, that's completely true, Orbital. You can't have a smite fight if the other side doesn't have a smite. And the wards that came out, I should have been watching the wards behind the pit rather than in the pit. They saw Devil Grey coming. They're like, okay, he's there. Turn and burn. We kill him. Nice and easy. And Ole Miss from what felt like 0 to 100 in 5 seconds right there in a series of just 2 fights. Ole Miss have completely taken over the game. And unfortunately for Fisher, I don't see a way for them to come back in with this composition. This was an early game comp that had to excel in the skirmishes, and Ole Miss fended those off expertly. And now it's a Hail Mary. You're looking for a flank from Toppo, Devil Grey. I don't see them behind enemy lines. I don't see a way for Fisher to win this from front to back.
Well, that's why they're not going to try to. You can see there are some wards still dropped pretty deep into enemy territory, or I would say actually just neutral territory. Fisher currently have 3 wards dropped behind him, and if you get a TP, hey, maybe you get something. That would be the Hail Mary I think you were talking about here. However, with the balled up composition of Ole Miss, they're leaving nothing to chance except for Icelandic in the mid lane to continue that pressure. They're just going to knock down this last tower in the spot side and look for a little bit more fun. Shogo still farming up an absolute storm at 260, as this is going to be that breakout. Encore landing on pretty much no one, as the Call Forge God is still there. The Cataclysm lands on 3. Over the wall goes J4, the shutdown, as it is going to be kill after kill after kill after kill. Only the bot lane of Fisher is alive, and they are none to rule the world. They will also die, as that's a stop right outside their fountain. Sword Blue can't even crawl, as in the fountain they go. Ace for none as Ole Miss storm the base.
Did you miss them, Orbital? Because Ole Miss is back with a vengeance in game 2 and drag us to a game 3 kicking and screaming. And this, you asked me, did I like the comp? Yes, this is why I like the comp. Fisher, they tried to kick in the front door. Too little, too late. And now we've seen Ole Miss bounce back. We've got to see if Fisher can bounce.
And I just...
Most people think, not to mention you are still melee into range with a knockback, which can force a disengage. So the mid lane is very much a skill matchup this time. It's not Radar who's take a passive beating on Malzahar up against the City.
Let's hope it doesn't go the way of game number 2 as well when Radar played Malzahar, because that would mean the Echo is in for a very, very bad time. Both teams here into game number 3, the best of 1 to come out here, if you will. It will be for all those marbles that you talked about. And you want to be the biggest bully in the yard. I mean, right now, neither team really wants to take that step forward. Remember, in game number 1 and 2, I think we had invades on both ends. This time around, it might be a late one instead of an early. Rhino, Uncle Sam, and Shogo do spot Varlic, I think, on the corner of their vision. So, drop a ward, back away, say nothing else to grab.
Like, once you have a hook champion, it's almost like mandatory that you have to step up and, you know, be aggressive. We saw in game 1 when Sword Blue was in Blitzcrank, exact same invade, just stood there laughing too. They got the vision down, walked away. This time, Rhino is returning the favor. So Fisher, I believe, actually spotted them coming in, so should know that there's a ward on ramp. I don't think it's going to change Devil de Grey's pathing very much. I mean, I've seen players kind of avoid it and go for cheese gangs, but I personally don't think it's worth it. So I think you just give that information, always now know where you are, and Icelandic hero can continue trying to avoid that J4.
Taking a look here as well, the fact that we are actually chasing on opposite sides as well brings a little bit different flavor behind it. We're going to see pressure from both junglers in opposite directions, which is going to be very fun. But again, we bounced between, I think, opposite sides in game 1, and then game 2, both sides, which ended in both junglers just going, okay, this is where we currently stand to now. Hey, full clear behind, but Sword Blue, we saw that level 1, and a good opening handshake by Rhino and Sword Blue.
It's interesting to note as well, Shogo is missing a little bit of CS in order to get this down. So the call here is we want to play a little wave state. We'd rather land that first than actually commit to anything. Uncle Sam actually taking a bit of a beating in the mid lane. So Radar already trying to pressure, but you're seeing what happens, right? Echo goes in, you burst, and then you're taking damage on the back end. And for Radar, I guess it's the call that you're going for. If you trade, at least it saves you from some of that pressure. If you don't, the range advantage is just constant auto attacks become an issue.
Constant beatdown of those bolts can be a pain. We're watching this top side because this is about what's going to happen in for the I want to say the next consecutive minutes, maybe up to like minute 15 or 16, is just Topo pushing this wave under time and time again, denying farm and trying to take plates. Radar in the mid lane, though, these are auto attacks, so this is actually very good from Uncle Sam. Really well auto attack threads in to chip away at Radar's HP.
Yeah, being down to about 200 health for Radar there means one full combo can kill you. Normally I'd be saying, okay, get Devil de Grey in there, get some ganks going, but I'm looking at the health bars of both Devil de Grey and Radar, and I think Uncle Sam finds at least a 1-for-1 with flash up. Maybe you just get the 1 kill and get out.
We also just saw Varlic and Sword Blue get a cheater recall while Devil de Grey is looking towards this mid. Uncle Sam, I mean, notices that this is happening, and that's going to be a good dodge, and it's kind of the weak under the tower. Still caught by a little bit of the transfer, and you do try and flash away. You are alive. Good force by Radar. It looks so close, but now you have to flash away to your own jungle. And Icelandic is full HP, but Icelandic is just chasing. I'm not sure you have the damage, you don't have the range, you don't have the flash, and now you're waiting for your own mid over the wall. Radar should go. Do you have any range for the jump? No, you don't. Both mids and jungles are looking so low. Devil de Grey is actually chasing in. What? Are you sure you want to be here? Nonetheless, you're headed up towards the top side and you're in danger. Blind guy, is it up? And it's gifted to Icarus. Are you kidding me? That is going to be a win for Ole Miss. Rhino and Shogo in the bot side. I was double checking to see if they were actually going to fight, but that's just a good chunk. Needless to say, though, Uncle Sam having to TP back on less than 75 is brutal.
Well, you know what, though? It's actually more brutal for Radar, because Radar teleported to make that play happen. Oh, the Ignite comes down, and Sword Blue is dead to rights.
Oh. Oh no, we're gonna jump to the top side because that kill was too bloody to watch. Shogo picks up one. It was on top of a ward as well.
Yeah, and that's just the sheer amount of burst damage. Unfortunately, I think Sword Blue forgetting how squishy Thresh actually is early. The passive allows you to stack up armor, but you got to pick up enough souls. And early on, with just the support item, no, it doesn't work with the Ignite, with the silver bolts coming through from Shogo. But I still want to go back to the mid lane a little bit, Orbital,
Yes.
because that fight was so epic. The fact that Uncle Sam barely gets out was the impetus for everything. And Radar blew his TP to make that play happen. So while sure, Uncle Sam comes back not full health, Radar has to lane that lane at like 20%, or he has to recall and miss minions. He opted for the latter, which is why he's down 2 waves right now in the mid lane.
Yeah, my eyes deceived me very, very heavily, and maybe I need new glasses or something because I didn't even notice that one. Radar having to drop down about 10 CS behind, which is I think one of the larger losses that we've seen for Radar here in the mid lane, which is also not unheard of in a melee versus range. Needless to say though, you have to force a recall here, and if it's identified by the side of Ole Miss, maybe you get some pressure down around this dragon. It is currently up, it is just a mountain, so maybe you can get some wards around there or something.
Yeah, Mountain would be nice if they could stack it. Unfortunately, just one in laning phase. It's okay. I feel like a lot of the dragons, the first 2 dragons, kind of don't matter as much because just one stack of it isn't amazing. Ocean, I think, is great early because that one just ticks throughout the entire laning. But everything else, you can kind of take it early. But I prefer to get the weaker ones off the way. And Mountain, I feel like, is actually one of the stronger ones, especially when you've got this many tanks in. Ole Miss, though, is going to clear the board of that Mountain Drake. They are starting it up uncontested.
And it's just going to be kind of gifted for right now, which them taking it at about 6:45 is going to be nice, but this is the one that really we want to watch for. It is going to be a nice route coming out here by Rollick and a draw very close to tower. Needless to say, though, Rhino and Shogo still winning out in the HP trades.
Not yet. Yeah, they are getting.
I'm still baited by this camera jumping up there every time like something's gonna happen. I'm like, it's 2 brutes. I don't know what else to talk about.
Well, then let's talk about bot lane because this dive is possible, and we've seen Sword Blue lose half his health in one combo.
That's so easy. They just snipe, and then Rhino's gonna sacrifice. Who does it get to? It is gonna be gifted to Icelandic Hero. I think Devil Degray is gonna get a revenge kill, and it is gonna be that trade. Happily does so. I think it's a 2 for 2 across the board, and you know what though? The problem is Icelandic Hero just picked up a massive influx of stats, gold, and experience.
And overall, that's Icelandic Hero at 5. If Icelandic Hero is at 6, that dive goes a lot easier. So that's a scary thought that Icelandic Hero might be looking to regank potentially in that ball lane. Actually, just tick 6 now, so Lamb's Respite is available. Likewise for Fisher, though. Cataclysm is now available for Devil Degray, and we haven't seen too many ganks come through yet from this J4. J4, early jungler, so time to get to it.
Try and get inside of the mix, and right now we're seeing a pinch in this mid lane as Devil Degray flashes in, try and catch out Uncle Sam, who does not have flashes. That should be a guaranteed kill. I mean, nothing else behind it as Devil Degray grabs that 1-2, 1-0 on that jungler.
Beautiful. Chef's kiss. We called, and Devil Degray answered perfectly with that Cataclysm. Offside. They just keep going at it back and forth. Icarus consuming biscuits, and finally, is there going to be relief? Topo has been pushed up the entire time, and Rhino and Icelandic Hero are finally there to punish.
Oh yeah, not just punish, to look for that thrill of the kill. Icelandic, I don't think has that mark currently on top, but instead it's just gonna be that damage handed to Icelandic. Can't even get that leap of faith to start working. It's just a simple kill and a push from Icarus.
Topo went to a better place. He went up, he never came back down. That leap of faith went huge distances, and that's one way to deal with an Lawi, right? Sure, she's really scary to gank 06 because of what she can do to many targets with that leap of faith, but if she can't attack, it doesn't matter anyways. The CC chain was beautiful. Radar taking a beating, but still has that chrono break available.
And that's going to be the draw right there, and you can see Uncle Sam really understanding the depths of the champion and understanding the differences here. You can see it there. Wasn't scared at all of dancing up close and personal because you're full HP, because you're full mana. It's safe to say you're good. Now identified as well, this dragon wasn't actually taken, which is very surprising. I just want to point that out. We saw Icelandic attacking the dragon. It was actually the call when we saw that dive. Icelandic was about I want to say actually a fourth or halfway through that dragon, pulled off the dragon just to make that dive happen.
Wow, that's an interesting choice as well, because I really did think for Ole Miss, it's not a bad idea to just stack those dragons when you can, but instead they're just deciding, hey, we've got enough killing dragons optional, and you can't argue how effective that guy was. Like an Icelandic hero already has that Trinity Force, is up so much gold on their counterpart, and is looking to spread that gold. I think that's a solid choice, but I would like to see them kind of go back to that bot lane, maybe attempt to dive again. Like we said, Lamb's Respite is available, and maybe this time after taking that, they can go for that dragon as well.
Well, the other side, maybe they flip-flop it. They don't really have eyes on Double Degrade. They have wards along the close net ring of this dragon, but they don't have directly on Devil. So instead of full fighting it, they're going to look at this dragon first. Uncle Sam, though, getting pinched, does flash away, but, I mean, you're still caught inside the Cataclysm. I don't think you got any of the ults out, and instead it's going to be the depth charge. So a good grab on Double Degrade, who falls, and that's a net positive win for Ole Miss.
Shogo able to take up that one now, so the other marksman starting to pick up gold. And the scariest part about Vayne, too, is that as a marksman, usually you're thinking, oh, stack armor, you're fine. No, Vayne does true damage. So the only way to stop a Vayne is either kill her or make sure she doesn't get fed. I think the latter one is a little bit too late for that. 42, 1, and 2. Icelandic hero and Rhino continuing to roam together. Rhino supporting jungler more than any carry.
Oh, and it's so nice. Radar getting caught up, does have that Chrono Break available, but, I mean, it's going to do minimal damage here. The Unleash power to finish it off as Rhino gets hooked up. But, I mean, you're the trash can, the depths keeping you safe. And that's just a simple one. This is, at this point, Ole Miss realizing they can start kind of wandering into enemy territory and be relatively safe.
Yeah, this combination of this Fed Kindred and this Nautilus is just too much. The CC chains they can put down in Orbital. We talked about the Echo Syndrome matchup, and we said that Echo was considered the answer. You're seeing why not so this game. If you're being aggressive, the Chrono Break gives you a lot of options to continue chasing and getting kills. But when you're defensive, it's a one of ultimate. And unfortunately, a lot of times you're seeing Radar isn't in a safe place after he Chrono Breaks. And even in the 1v1s, the Chrono Break is more of a reset. You're using an ultimate to reset the fight. And if there's any backup whatsoever, like Rhino, like Icelandic hero, you reset and they just kill you.
Not just that, Uncle Sam is also unkillable in this mid lane. We didn't get to talk about it because normally we see the Ludens come out or the Leandries, right? Actually going for the Shattered Crown is huge, right? You deny a lot of that early burst damage, and as long as Uncle Sam is in that kind of I know you're coming in, you can actually prep to re-engage and kind of have revenge damage on Radar.
Yeah, and because of that little bit of a lag time before the Crown Shield breaks, the Echo sort of combination where you dive in and try and land a Q right away doesn't work. You need to space it out, and within that space, Uncle Sam can do a great job sidestepping and dodging the damage. Orbital, why are we looking at top lane again?
It's every time a plate goes down, which honestly Topo is doing a much better job of. This is I think what we were talking about is the fact that, hey, the gold difference for Topo in this situation, Alawi is a much harsher split pusher only, but again, that's not where the action is, because bot lane is all the action. A drag under the tower into a cut, and I mean, you just dodge out, but no pin against the wall, so I don't think, no, they do dive. Because we're watching this mid lane, though, it is going to be Uncle Sam finally dying with the help of two others. Needless to say, though, you invested a lot into that mid lane.
Hey, turnabout's fair play. I mean, Icelandic hero and Radar have been going up there an awful lot, Orbital, so I'm sure Radar is more than happy to have backup. And notably, didn't use the Chrono Break. So if they want to revisit that lane and make it happen again, doable onto Uncle Sam.
Oh.
Outside, leap of faith. Icarus is still in there.
I'm not sure you actually like that one. Remember, the soul hurts so much.
Grace there too.
Yeah, that's gonna be Icarus realizing that they might have slipped up here. No reason to try and flash away. Well, now there might be a couple more auto attacks. Might take a good flash on that Q, dodging out there, so you don't lose your life. You might lose a few more plates, but bot side's already down. Now Shogo gonna get hooked up here as Rollick really doesn't have anything else, though. Remember, it's only Rollick. It's this mage who Icelandic says, I'm time to fight. You get a chunk, you get a kill, you dance into your own Lamb's Respite. Shogo gonna help it as well, as Sword Blue is gonna go down. Radar tries to jump back with a Chrono Break, but needless to say, you're getting danced on as well. The absolute kiting from these two ADCs is immaculate for a 3-0.
The show is a go, Orbital, and this is why I love it when Shogo picks these mechanical champions. It's not Draven, but this is why I was hyped for the Vayne. I can't believe he lives. I don't know how he did it, but he's done it before, and I trust that he'll do it again.
I don't want to see it again. It's gonna break my mind. They should have died. One of them should have died, and yet they did so well again. These two champions, you called it at the very beginning. This composition allows for, number one, skill expression, but if they get rolling, they are unstoppable, and we're seeing it here. Rollick and Swordblue cannot do anything. And at this current situation, Dragon is forfeit every single time now. Fisher do not have control over this objective. You do not have the ability to fight for it. Instead, you just have to watch it kind of whittled away as Devil the Great also realizes their jungle is getting whittled away, but not by their own accord.
It's such an awkward position because you need to fight when Lamb's Respite is down. Orbital, if you're Fisher, that ult is single-handedly going to stifle a lot of what your team wants to do. But their ults aren't up and available. Thresh ult's not there. Echo ult wasn't there. Topo didn't have his either. So now it's coming up, and they actually try and set up for it, not if Radar dies like this.
I mean, I don't even think Radar can do too much. Has to flash away, but now you do Swordblue into a dangerous spot. The hook, though, lands on Icelandic hero, one of the champions that you really need. Lands Respite isn't there, so you get the shutdown. That's number one. Especially around Dragon, it seems that Ole Miss may have gotten a little bit too confident.
That's huge. And again, Lamb's Respite down, Orbital. That's the window you need to take if you're Fisher. Able to find it as Icelandic opts into it. Now, Dragon is up. Fisher have the numbers advantage, but even now, they're slow to rotate. They're pinging it, but teleport is available for Uncle Sam, and I'm kind of worried that with the Call to Forge God available right now, if you get choked in that choke point, Shogo can just rip right through you. You're not that tanky.
I think they're calling it right now. As you can obviously see, it is dropped down. Rollick gets knocked up, and they're going to force Shogo into the middle of the fight. They have another ADC. Keep that in mind. Hook goes wide, and Swordblue is going to get shredded. Uncle Sam coming in from the backside. That's an encore on two, but it still does not stop the slaughter. Silver Bulls Pierce as Uncle Sam picks up that kill. Swordblue and Devil the Grey have to get out of dodge.
They keep on chasing. If Uncle Sam can just land one more stun, the Krugs get in the way. And, oh, actually.
Wait, do you spot them? Keep in mind. Keep in mind. If you see him,
Sword
Swordblue's caught. Swordblue is caught. Devil the Grey, though, trying to help him out. This is a do or die now. Uncle Sam is committed. Uncle Sam is committed. You will lose your life for it. And a TP being called down from Topo will give the gift of extra gold. Topo has been sectioned off in this top side. I mean, the amount of time that you're taking, by the way, is ridiculous. 300 gold over to Topo as the fight is now complete.
Okay, and more importantly, Orbital, Dragon went to Ole Miss as well. So Ole Miss eyes on the prize, even as Uncle Sam is having his fun. And once again, we talk about this Ornn. Icarus is down a little bit of experience, but not significant amounts, is pretty much even. And despite the gold deficit, right, he's 90 CS to 158 CS. He's maybe half an item behind where Topo is. It doesn't matter, because Ornn is all about that utility, and the moment that Call to Forge God landed, well, Shogo was there, and Shogo had more than enough gold to compensate for Icarus's death.
I mean, you take a look, and when we talk about compensation, let's talk about the items that Shogo stacked up, right? Matching pace and actually surpassing Icelandic, has the Trinity Force as well as that proc. Yeah. It's so crazy. So at this point, we got to keep eyes on what Fisher wants to do as Topo realizes that I can't even get this tower as Uncle Sam unleashes a torrent of damage.
Not worth. That was so close from Topo. I understand he stick around wanting to take it, but that's really gonna hurt. Now Uncle Sam doesn't have TP, so Fisher knows he's there. Oh, it doesn't even matter. I was gonna say they can try and maybe rotate, make a play topside, but Ole Miss were ahead of the play. They get the Herald as well. They're gonna be able to siege in at mid lane. That's not safe. Keep in mind, diving is a huge possibility for Ole Miss with that Lamb's Respite available again.
I mean, that's why Devil the Grey is trying to play outside and not show information. Maybe they're thinking of trying to fight back, but I mean, there's no reason. No real wave there. Rollick is starting to get that wave clear down, even though you're 0-4, and 4 is still able to push out those melee as well as ranged minions. Shogo now, though, going towards that top side, getting a little bit of freedom to farm up in their own right and continue their 50 CS lead over their lane opponent.
And, Orbital, normally at this point, Topo just picked up Hull Break. That's a huge break point for an Illaoi, a huge power spike. And normally that's when Illaoi starts to just side lane, and very few champions are going to be able to answer in that 1v1. But with Ole Miss as ahead as they are right now, I'm a little bit concerned. We saw Uncle Sam just rip Topo under the turret, and granted that wasn't a turret. But I'm trying to imagine what happens if Icelandic Hero or Shogo go to answer that split push. I feel like Shogo would still be able to win, because all the resistances of the world don't do anything to Silver Bolts. And as long as Shogo can dodge out especially on that Test of Spirit, I think Shogo could actually just look for the split push and win against Topo. And then what do Fisher have left in 10?
Not much, and Radar's throwing everything in the tank as well, and didn't really get that much either. Your Uncle Sam is just like, yeah, I'm good, I'm still full health, all you broke is a shield, and they're happy. So we're seeing these exchanges, obviously with the stat checks, give us a little bit of a view of how the next 10 minutes are going to break down. Icarus trying to hold off Topo, and on the top side, Radar chasing to stay away from your Uncle Sam.
Chris losing almost half his health right now to this Test of Spirit. Not working out, and here we go. Shogo has finally rotated down here.
Yeah, and that's going to be all they need. We also saw Icelandic Hero take a look as well, but I mean, I think they're just going to give this to Shogo, right? Go ahead, keep Shogo rolling 6, 1, and 4. And Rollick is now getting checked into mid lane because when one ADC is there, the other is sure to follow. And with the TP, and I'm not sure you actually want to stay there. They immediately, they chrono break straight back to top side. They saw the absolute rethinking of an ult right there. Just the TP said, nope.
I'm just imagining the comms right now. Radar's TPing in and just like, abort, abort! As soon as Radar gets him, presses R just to get back out. It's the right call. And hey, by the way, because of all the rotation into the mid lane from Ole Miss, no one is there to stop Rollick on the side. No one's also here to stop Ole Miss shoving in. And Herald is on their side.
I think Ole Miss are okay with this one. However, Devil Gray is going to try and play spoilers. Sword Blue is able to find Rhino and Topo coming in from the side. This is the flank that they want, but Icelandic Hero is doing so much work. Look at the shred, but that's the draw. That's the one that you want. Scout of the Week grabs 3, and they're going to try and rebuttal. Icelandic Hero still has Lamb's Respite, and because of that, they had to back off. Shogo's getting ready for it. If they re-engage, it's going to be danger. In goes the roll. Encore lands on 2. Icelandic Hero's low, but that's the snipe. Sword Blue is down, and everyone's outside the enemy side. Devil Gray sacrificing himself against the wall so that the rest of the team may live.
Well, so close. Shogo ain't done yet. He's done again.
I said they were done. I said sacrifice was there, but the sacrifice was in vain as Shogo is dominating.
I love it, Orbital, when Shogo gets ahead. And you can see no fear on this Vayne whatsoever. Game 2, we saw it with the Sivir as well. He was often the one in front chasing people down, and now his champion is fully designed to do so. Heck, your passive makes you run at enemies faster. So, Shogo is in his happy place now with Wit's End completed. He did not need more movement speed, Orbital, but he sure as heck got it.
The final hour, by the way, is one of the more simplistic ults out there, right? You take a look at what it actually does. It's just extra move speed, I think extra damage, right? And then you go invisible, right? In theory, it sounds so simple, and yet it gives so much with your head that the rest of officials are like, why don't we nerf this? Like, why didn't they nerf this side of it? It's crazy, and I love it. However, right now, Icelandic, as we said, again, in this situation, does not have language, so it's just a walking pile of gold.
He's buying time, at least. Still has flash available.
No. Okay, okay, that's good.
Ooh, this is interesting. No smite for Ole Miss, and they're starting Baron. Because they saw Devil the Grey bot, there is no smite for either of these teams. Ooh, okay, Rollick and Topo have made the call. We're not doing this. We're going to give them Baron.
And I can agree with that one, right? Yes, there's no smite, but the resounding damage that can come out is a little bit too dangerous. So, you give Baron, you try and get another tower, that way you deny the opportunity to press very quickly on it. However, what they didn't expect was this collapse coming in from the side of Ole Miss, routing their retreat and forcing them to the lower side of the map. Topo currently hiding and gets pinged out by a ping ward. You're not getting away. You're kind of dead in the water. I'm sorry. Doesn't matter if you have a leap of faith. Shogo's just going to shred your life. On the flip side, though, Uncle Sam looking to get the Scout of the Week does get it. The Ornhorn knocks them all up, and all of a sudden the rest of Fisher realize their mistake. Brutal condemn against brutal condemn as Sword Blue will stand steady. You know you are dead. Shogo gets a double kill.
How many multi-kills have we seen go down to Shogo? But overall, for Fisher, I'm surprised they turned around for Topo. Like you said, Topo was caught up a creek without a paddle, and Rowlick, Sword Blue, and Devil the Grey jumped right in that same canoe. I don't know if I agree with that call. I can see the idea, right? Rowlick's heals kept Topo alive a little longer. But more importantly, you have no threat onto this Kindred. You have no threat onto the Vayne. And again, as long as Lamb's Respite is up, Fisher don't win that fight.
because they have chosen an unfortunate poor choice, they now lose an outer tower, an inner inhibitor tower, and the inhibitor behind with not so much as a whisper. They're going to try and manufacture a chase, though, as 4 start chasing down. Flash out at Icarus to try and slow it down. Flag and Drag goes in, and the Encore lands on multiple, but the Lance Master comes up just in time to allow the rest of the team to follow through. That is going to be Shogo, though, fighting off on the side, and that means a kill onto Icelandic. Because of that, it is Shred City. Fisher, though, now have to realize they're in a little bit of trouble. That's going to be a stun to the backside, though. They have caught Shogo. Are you kidding me? Leap of Faith does literally nothing, but it doesn't matter. Radar is straight in the back line. Go ahead. Get the procs, get the damage. That's going to be more. Triple kill for Shogo, but I think it's a triple for Radar as well. Uncle Sam is going to try and chase down Radar as much as possible, and they both know they're in trouble. Come on, duke it out. I want to see it get that ace. Oh, okay, that's a bait out. Radar doesn't want anything of this.
The stun actually lands, but... Wait, can they stall long enough? Icelandic's back up in 5 seconds. Rhino's
I think they can. Uncle Sam's chasing. Let's see if they can do this. So, a little bit of a Q down. Does Uncle Sam keep chasing? That is going to be an out over the wall. Uncle Sam does not have flash. You're still looking. You get another tag, but those Merc Treads do a lot of work to deny the CC.
Orbital used as well to gain more distance.
Oh my gosh.
Radar, keep running.
Orange TP'd in. This is... Wait, no. This is round 2, an extended round 2. That's going to be the ult come up. Is Chrono Break going to come up in time? You have only about 5 seconds left. It's up. Are you kidding me? They're going to start round 2. Ding, ding, ding. Double the Gray is here. Now they have to run away. Counter goes in. Uncle Sam is caught. But look who's here. Rhino is ready to fight as well. Radar's going to try and jump in the back line. Good jump over the scout of the week. And Uncle Sam picks it up. That's going to be a 1-for-1. Rollick is coming in behind. Icarus is going to try and stall as long as possible. Shogo's running as quick as possible. And they realize it. Fisher realizes they're in trouble. Run as fast as you can. You can't catch me. We are Fisher, man. Sword Blue is going to lose their life as Rhino picks up the kill. Extended fight for extended fight as Dragon is up in 40 seconds. Icelandic says we're still not done. I want round 3. I want my 7th kill knockup into the charm, into the encore, and more. Icelandic gets 1, and you get back to the rest of the team. The overall fight, even though it was long, still lands another 4 into Ole Miss.
Fisher will not go quietly into the sweet night, Orbital, as they keep on pushing onto Ole Miss. And there are moments where it looks like they can maybe do it, but every time the marksmen show up, it's over. Topo hopping in.
I mean, Topo's going to try, but condemned against the wall. That is going to be the tentacle slapping your last goodbye. Inhibitor will fall. Icelandic flashes forward. The Trinity Force firing away for all it is worth as Sword Blue gets back into the base. Holy moly, that was so close with that fountain. Needless to say, though, that time is a little bit long and the damage is just too high. As Ole Miss say we had to go to game 3, but it does not matter. We will pad that stat board as much as possible. Stun against the wall as Devil to Grey will fall. Nexus is open. Ole Miss reverse the score, and it's going to be GG. Ole Miss move on into the winners finals. Icarus getting into the middle mix as well. May fall here. No, survives. 34-14. Ole Miss take it home.
Icarus just rewrote the legend of Icarus. He flew too close to the mountain, but he didn't get burned. He actually walks out alive with no health, it looks like. And Orbital, this is why Ole Miss is #1 in their division. This is why they won the Samsung Fall Open. They're really